Welcome to the Leglock Blueprint, the essential concepts, tactics, and controls of the modern Leglock game. My name is Travis Earlham. I'm head instructor and owner of Dark Horse Martial Arts. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing Leglocks since two-stripe white belt. I love this stuff. In this course, we're diving deep into the world of Leglocks, one of the most dynamic and evolving aspects of modern grappling. Whether you're a complete beginner or you're looking to refine your existing knowledge, this instructional is designed to give you a clear, systematic approach to attacking and defending the lower body. We'll start with the fundamental concepts, positional control, leg entanglements, and the mechanics behind each submission. From there, we'll explore entries, both beginner and advanced, finishing details, and defensive counters. Throughout, the focus will be on control, safety, and effectiveness. Not just chasing taps, but understanding how to dominate the Leglock game. By the end of this series, you'll be able to recognize and create opportunities, control the most common positions and leg entanglements, such as Ashi Garami, outside and inside Sankaku, the saddle. And finish with precision, with heel hooks, straight ankle locks, knee bars, and more. Let's get started. Okay, so very start of our Leglock journey, we're gonna have to look at how to control it. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 little movements and exercises on how to make it more effective for you. First one, I'm gonna have a standing partner. They're gonna walk into my armpits and I'm gonna grab, okay? So I'm gonna come up into single leg X. I wrap around, I have this one in. Now I'm gonna jump up, I wanna lock up. I wanna get that hip, use that to pull myself up, attach to the leg. Now I have this foot behind, knee comes over and around. I want a nice lock. I'm learning how to keep my hips high and attached to the back of their leg. Then I come down, up, lock in nice and tight. I can keep going back and forth for this movement. Now, a couple things that we can point out here. I don't necessarily need this arm locked in. It does help, but if I'm getting in the way or if I'm just starting, you can just like trap elbow to ribs, then lock up nice and high. I need my hips off the ground. I can't do it from here where everything's down. It's a weak single leg X. I need to learn how to get great control. So I'm here, lock up, in. All right, so that's our first movement. All right, second movement to learn how to control and invert. So I'm looking at my partner. They're gonna be standing. I'm gonna have my feet facing them. Then I'm gonna cut an angle. I wanna keep this space in between us. So I cut that angle. Now I'm looking at almost a half Imanari roll. So I'm gonna go above the knee, palm up, capturing with the hook of my thumb. In, rotate around, and then come back. Okay, and I'm gonna build this up. Lock up high. I don't wanna go down at the ankle. I'm gonna run into this problem where my head now hits my arm. I wanna go up near that knee, rotate around. Once I get that under my belt, now I'm gonna try and lock up on the leg. So, attach, through, up, and I'm grabbing behind him. This leg is higher than his knee, this leg is below. Then I reverse and I come back. Then I switch my sides. So I don't want to just get good on one side, I want to learn how to do it on both sides very, very well. So start square with him, little turn. Now I'm looking about 30 degrees away from him. Walk up. From here, I rotate around, head in front of their leg, up. And now this bottom leg is pulling, this top leg is pushing. It allows for me to lock in, then I reverse it, okay? And I can keep going back and forth. So boom, around, shoot my hips high and behind. Come back, spin, here, lock, around, lock. I'm looking to learn how to invert and roll across my shoulders with this move. Also learning how to lock above the knee. This gives you a great opportunity to build up your like 411 and saddle positions. Okay, so now the last position to learn how to like work our control for leg locks is I'm just gonna start with my back on the mat, partner standing there, I'm grabbing legs, okay? From here, I'm gonna start my inversion. I'm gonna attach shoelaces to inside of the leg. I'm gonna use this as my momentum leg and come around. I'm coming around up nice and high, walking above the knee. Now, here, grabbing ankles. I don't wanna be so far out that when I launch up, I'm not gonna be able to connect. And you're gonna have to find your own distance. Here, now I can lock shoelaces to the inside of the thigh. Outside leg comes around, up, and behind. This one comes in. I should end on my shoulder. All too often I see people like this on their neck. That's not good. I want to have on my shoulder, full connection, crotch to the side of their leg. Back. So now, one more time, we go boom, up, shoelaces to the inside, work my way around, up, and lock on the side of the leg. I'm pretty much all the way to an Imanari roll. I'm just learning to keep my weight and everything because gravity is working against me. So if I can keep this locked and he shakes, I shouldn't fall. Then I come around. Show from one more angle here. Straight on, boom. He has this a little bit in, a little bit in. Okay, up, shoelaces. Use that to turn, up, and around. I'm locking here. I shouldn't be like grabbing and holding on. I should be able to lock with this one pulling out this way, this one pushing in, then I come back. I'm learning to invert and work around with basic leg lock control. These three movements will help you build the foundation upon what we're going to be learning for the rest of the curriculum. Perfect. All right, we're gonna look at the leg lock series that I've developed here at Dark Horse, where we're going from a bunch of different ones, okay? So we're gonna start with our 101. Let's go from double inside. I have both feet on the inside. I'm gonna extend under, this one's up, and I use that one to butt scoot in. I come into my 101. So all of these are gonna be different numbers. I'll try and give the names that are more traditional. So this is like our straight Ashi Garami. R101. So 101, I'm back heeling in, keeping this nice and tight. This one's on that leg. Boom. From here, I'm going to my 111, okay? So I'm gonna push this leg, extend this one over, bring it to the outside, and now I have our 111. It's also called double outside. There's a bunch of different names for it, but I like numbers, so 111. I'm gonna be hiding this foot. This is like the main detail. Hide that foot, keep it out of attack. Why could it be under attack? It's within his knees. So he could potentially attack us. So just put your bottom foot over top and trap it in. From here, we go to 50-50. So I'm gonna dive this hand down to that heel, roll across my back, pop my hips up, and bring it to that side. Now I'm in my 50-50 here. So from 50-50, we have equal amount of chance. So I wanna actually take this foot, a little detail, we'll go into it later, but I want to put it on top and stomp it down. That raises his heel, it exposes heel, allows for heel hooks, fun stuff like that. So I'm here, get to my 50-50. Now I'm going to drop into my 80-20. So I want my inside knee to drop down. It drops down and in. It's essentially 80% control here. So I'm around and I have this. So I lock up on that side, 80-20. From 80-20, I'm gonna keep this knee up and in, and I drop over with this leg, and now I'm gonna pinch him between my heel and my shoelaces on that side. I wanna have my 90-10, okay? So this is 90-10. I like to hit our inside heel hooks from here and toe holds. From here, I'm gonna drop into my 411. So bring that one in, kick that leg away, square up my hips. Now I'm in 411. Honey hole, saddle, there's a bunch of different names for it, but this is 411 for us. I can go from 411 into a leg lace. So grabbing, extend, retract, Now I have leg lace here. This is dead to rights, all these other different names. Leg lace seems easy for us, so I go leg lace. Also from here, if I want to go an alternative route, I can go to our 7-11, which is also known as Z-lock. So I'm gonna bring this knee inwards, push it in, drop down, pull that heel over. Now I'm in my 7-11. Why do I like 7-11? His leg's a 7, mine are 11. I have my inside heel hooks and my hips. So off of 7-11, we can reverse it now so that we can understand the connection and correlation between all the leg locks. So I'm gonna go from 7-11, drop down, over top, into my 4-11. From my 4-11, I can drop over and bring it out and around to my 90-10. From 90-10, I can bring it back to my 80-20. From my 80-20, I can drop over, get my 50-50. From my 50-50, I can push around, pop that leg over, and bring it in. Now I'm in my 111 or double outside. From my double outside, I can push that knee over, bring this back, get my 111, or 101. So 101, 111, 50-50, 80-20, 90-10, kick, 411. Drop, up, around, 7-11. Back, 411, around, 90-10, 80-20, 50-50, 111, 101. This is our sequence. Highly recommend repping it. It gives you a nice idea of all the different correlations between them. All right, for this section, I got my Uke Nino here. He's gonna be helping me out with this leg lock instructional. Now, for this section, we are gonna be going over the fundamental concepts of an effective leg lock game. Now, when we're getting into leg locks, there's two main positions, inside and outside. Right now, we'll cover the inside positioning. So inside positioning is like my 101, also called straight Ashi Garami, inside Sangaku maybe, I don't know. I like numbers 101 right here. So I have this one back heeling against that thigh, knee over top. We'll go over the control and braking mechanisms later on in this instructional. For now, let's look at the inside positioning and the basic leg locks that we hit off of this, okay? So I have my inside positioning, 101. I have straight leg locks. I have like the one where it comes right on there. This is 101. Another one for our inside positioning is double outside. We like, at Dark Horse, we like to call it 111. His leg is a 1, mine are 11. Double outside, again, I have my hips on the inside position. That's how we determine which is inside versus outside. I have straight leg locks. I have an outside heel hook here. I have all that fun stuff. Again, we'll go over the braking mechanisms later. From here, I have Z-lock. It's technically still on the inside position, but I'm just gonna switch both my legs in. Now, my hips are still technically on the inside. I have my outside heel hook. I have this crazy one that just pops hip, all that fun stuff. So that's our three main positionings for inside position. Now, for outside, we have the very common 411 here, okay? So we're in, nice 411. This is probably our primary setup for outside leg locks. A lot of heel hooks come off of here. Now, when we're looking at outside heel hooks or outside positioning, there's, I would say, a higher risk of them getting away, but higher reward because I can hit that heel hook pretty quick. On the inside, I have more control, a little bit harder to get that finish because they have a little bit more ways to defend. From here, I can also go to 50-50. It's still outside positioning. The problem with this one is we both have the exact same position. So I just have to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more knowledgeable in attacking and defending. So we have 411, 50-50. We also have 80-20 where I dip this knee on the inside and I can lock up here. So 80% control, 20% chance that he might get away. We also have 90-10, where I swing this one across and I hip in. So I want my hips tight and I want to be back heeling in here. These are going to be our primary positions that we work off of for the rest of this instructional. Okay, so we have our main positions. Now we're going to look at braking mechanics. So let's look at our braking mechanics for a straight leg lock. What I want to do, a lot of people have become comfortable with just their foot going straight this way, okay? And if you've been doing leg locks long enough, that Achilles pain goes away. So what we need to do is we need to break these tendons in here, okay? Best way to do that, take this foot and not only go this way, but turn it in, rotate it in so that it starts to crack and all that fun stuff. I can do this multiple ways. We'll show from our one-on-one position. So I'm in and I have my arm in, okay? So as I get this arm in, I don't want to be lazy and have it down by my crotch. I want to bring it up, okay? The higher up it is, the better it is for me, the more braking pressure on the top of his foot. Then I'm going to tuck this elbow underneath me and I want it to go back. I don't want to be here and roll to my back. That gives him so many opportunities to escape. And we'll go over escapes at the end of the instructional, but for now we're working on braking mechanics. So let's tuck that elbow, bring this arm up, and then I'm looking over and bridging through. I'm starting to get a lot of pressure on that foot. What tucking that elbow does is it takes that foot and extends it this way. So it's not straight down, it goes around and it rotates in. Internal rotation by tucking that elbow in. Then I bring this up, so I've got a nice little fulcrum to break over. All right, so putting that all together, I'm in, through, tuck, bridge. That's how I get the basic braking mechanism for my one-on-one position. This works in multiple positions, but from one-on-one is probably my most common. Next one is where we're looking at getting this Leglock here, and I'm bringing that heel on my ribs. So it's like my one-on-one straight leg lock, ankle braking mechanism, but now I'm tucking this in and I'm bringing this thumb nice and high and getting that heel on my ribs. I can still bridge through. So I have this. This one works very well when they start to go that way. When they start to try and get out of this, I can push this knee down and pop that heel on the top. Now, how that one works is I'm no longer rotating it this way. I am extending it this way. I have a pivot point there. I'm rotating that way. So now I'm taking that ankle and breaking it the other side. So I'm attacking these ligaments. This is one of the best ways to break that ankle. And if you've been watching leg locks recently, this is probably one of the most recent inceptions in leg locks that people have really been taking and running with. So you're here, and now rather than just tucking that elbow and bringing it back, I'm bringing that elbow through, and you can see how much more, and it sucks. If I want one more little braking mechanism off of this one, you good? I'm gonna bring this, and then I'm gonna pinch this knee over top, and then I bridge through. That's how I get those ones off of that straight ankle lock one-on-one position. Okay, so we're looking at braking mechanics. Now we're gonna look at the braking mechanics of a heel hook, all right? So what I'm looking at doing, we have two different ways. We have a bridge through or a rotational, okay? So we're looking at like rotational versus leverage. When I'm here and I'm in my 411 position and I get this heel all caught up, I can stomp on my own heel and bridge through, blowing out the inside of his knee, okay? This is a great way to start to learn heel hooks. One, you can kind of feel the pressure in here, and you can talk with your partner. You don't want to go too far because they'll blow out his knee. And you want to learn how to do heel hooks safe. But you can start to feel a little bit of pressure and get that tap. Okay, so this is one that I'm using leverage where I have this fully connected. I hit the rotation of his leg by locking these toes in so I can bridge through the knee that way. So what it looks like is I'm here, I dive down, and I bring this in. Now I want to bridge through that way. A rotational heel hook is when I'm starting to look at another one. I like to do the rotational from an outside position. So when I'm in like 111 and I have this and I have his hip locked down and I have all of my connecting points locked up, and I bring it in and I start to rotate through. So I hook those hips, I bring this one out, and I can kind of bridge through, but a lot of people will prevent that, or they don't really care too much. It's hard to bridge all the way through to below that knee, but as soon as I start to rotate and get that rotational force against that knee, a lot better for me. You'll see this a lot off of the Z-lock or 711. So I'm here and I have that fully locked in, and I'm not going to be able to bridge through because my legs are in the center. So I'm here, I rotate up and around. Now, couple of the control, this way a little bit. When I'm in an outside heel hook position or inside, I want to tuck this elbow and keep that forearm in line with that foot. I want that almost like that, and then I just wrap around. I want this part of my hand and arm to be at that, right in that, right at the bottom of the Achilles, right at that heel. So I can have all of this in and create that torsion and control. I do the same thing from an inside heel hook. In, tuck my elbow in, then I come up and then I go there. I don't want it here, whereas if his heel is in my elbow pit, he can slip it all day. Heel slipping, we're gonna go over later on, but from here, I tuck the elbow way back. Now if he goes to heel slip, a lot harder. Then I bring this up, in. Now I can break it. So when we're looking at the difference of rotational versus bridging through, so leverage, I want the one where if I have my legs here and I can bridge through the side, my knees are going in a different direction. Okay? If our knees are relatively in the same direction going this way, but I can stop them, now I'm going to rotate and keep this in and keep going. That's the breaking mechanics of heel hooks. We'll go on to how we collect that and control that knee line next. Okay, now we're going to look at knee line control in our leg lock positioning. So, in our 101 position, we'll look at the very fundamental concept of knee line. Okay, if his knee is within my two knees, I am controlling his knee line. So if there is a line straight between the two, I'm controlling it. As soon as it comes out a little bit and it's beyond that, he has a really high chance of escaping. Now there are some leg locks, and we are going to go into these niche leg locks later on, but for our fundamental concept, if his knee is within this line coming towards us, I'm winning. And this is the same for straight leg locks, heel hooks, all this fun stuff. If his knee is within this line, I'm winning. If he starts to get his leg out, right, he's escaping, and he can counterattack from here. So let's work on keeping that knee line. A couple of ways. We'll start with 411. One is keeping this nice grip on this inside tendon. So everyone's got this guy, well, almost everyone, okay? And I use it as a mountain climber grip. So I grip in, I rotate my elbow in. Now I have his knee pretty trapped. Another concept is rather than having him have a straight leg where it can go out that way with like a running man or something, I want to keep his knee bent. Now if he tries to turn or go that way, a lot harder for him to escape out. So one, grab, pull in. Two, keep his knee bent. 90 degrees is perfect. If it's somewhere in between, that is what it is, but we want to try and keep that knee bent. So I'm going to put body, everything against it so he can't go out that way. There is rotational escapes. We'll cover that, but like in general, I want this. Now, as we look at our 101 position, again, I'm keeping that knee line. How do I keep that? Old school thinking was this one would push, right? Because that allows me to extend this out this way. The problem with it is he can use that energy and go out the way that he wants to. What I should be doing with this one is pulling in. I should be back heeling to my butt. Then this one comes over top and hides that foot as much as possible. That's keeping his knee within the knee line. This foot can now extend that one out. This one can control what that leg is doing. So I'm here, and I have all that trapped in. Now I have his knee line controlled with a back heel and claps over top. 50 or in 111, I can do the same thing. I don't necessarily need to have my knees pinched here. This is actually an escape route for him. I prefer to grip over. Now I grip that outside tendon, keep his knee bent. Now I can go for that outside heel hook. I like this tendon grip here. Whether it's on the inside from 411 or outside from 111, I'm keeping that and I'm tucking this elbow in nice and tight. Now if he goes to move around, fairly contained. So I like the outside one for 111, even 50-50. I'm gonna go on that inside tendon grip. I keep it over top and trap in. Now I have the bend in his knee. I have his knee line trap. I have a lot of control from here. All right, for this chapter, we're looking at our basic entries into our leg lock position. For this one, we're looking at our basic entries into inside position. So we're gonna start with closed guard. So from closed guard, I wanna have a nice, clean, crisp entry. So I'm in, I'm gonna push these elbows up. I want turned in and my head low. I don't wanna be up high because then he can shotgun armbar me and all this other stuff. So I want him nice and low. Head low, then I bring it over his, pop up. My feet are about shoulder width apart, my knees in behind that butt. From here, I'm gonna look at the ceiling, up. Now I'm gonna turn this way to break that close guard, drop this down. Now, I'm gonna drop this knee over, and as I'm doing that, I'm gonna wrap. I wanna over wrap this leg. So, I drop it down, over wrap, fall, then I capture the hip. Now with this one, I still wanna back heel in, pinch my knee down, and then I'm gonna pull this arm up. So I'm getting that nice straight leg lock. We call it 101 position. This is just a little bit opposite. Usually you see it on the other side. I want to drop to capture a leg. I'll show it one more time, different angle. So I'm here, in, up, head above theirs, pop up, knees in, stand up, turn, drop it down. Now as I'm dropping, watch what this foot does. I want to have come through, pop it around, okay? I want it nice back heel, nice and clean. Another point of control is this bottom leg. I've put my weight all the way around it so he can't use it as a defensive component. So now, wrap up, knee down, bridge back. And I have a lot of bridge that I can go all the way that way. So this is a great entry for your very beginning style of our 101 position. So we can look at different ones. We can look at our single leg X. So I'm here and I have my modified X or single leg X. I have this wrap over top. How I can get into a leg lock position is very easy. I'm pulling this one down. This one is locked up behind this thigh, and then I'm gonna bridge through. Now a little bonus to this is if I can have this and I can trap this ankle. If I can trap this ankle, he's not gonna be backstepping. If I can't quite grab that one because it's a little bit further away, that's fine. I make sure that this foot is locked in behind. So now my hips come high, I want them up behind and I bridge through. Now I end in my 101 position and I can start to work on my leg lock control. I need to have my knee line, then I need to control the ankle, and then I can break it. So when I'm here, what it kind of looks like, say if he's up standing, and I need to get into single leg X, right? I can come in with a shin on shin, throw down this way, extend it up, block, drive up. Now I'm in my single leg X. I'm gonna block, cover my heel, bridge through. If I can grab this one, bam, bam. If I can grab this one, I'm taking it, bridging through. That's the best way. If I can't, I keep this one behind him, because if I don't, if I lock up fully on this leg, he's just gonna keep hopping around. All right, so I need to block that one with that heel, bring that knee up and over top, bridge through. Now I have that straight ankle lock right here. That's my number one entrance. We'll go through a bunch. All right, we're gonna work on another entry into single leg X. So I'm here, I'm looking at butterfly guard. I have my heels in and I want them pulling against the thigh. If he moves his leg, I move that with it. They are sticky feet. From there, I look at my butterfly control, and I'm gonna have another instructional about butterfly, but for now, think forehead against neck, wrapping in, arms up high. From here, I go in, and I raise him up, and I expect him to plant his feet. If he does, I keep my butterfly hooks until I bring one out, then I bring it around, up, grab. Now I can get into my into my 101 single leg X, Ashi, Garami, whatever you want to call it, okay? So let's go over that. I'm here, I have my butterfly hooks. I want my head into a good position where, in general, in butterfly, lower head is winning the position. Underneath, in that neck, and I want my unicorn horn in. Now, I'm gonna bring them up, butt scoot in, lift them up, and keep my frames in here, okay? So you can't pass. One out, and I bring it around. So I don't go way down low. I'm exaggerating for the video. What I would do is out, up. From there, this one's back heeling, bringing crotch, back of the leg, up high. This one again, goes behind that thigh, knee over top, bridge through, pop it. Now I have my 101. And we're looking for all the same control. So that's my second entry. That one's from butterfly. Okay, we're looking at basic entries into our 101. So we're here. Now I'm gonna look at another guard break. We're gonna do the same guard break, but we're gonna come into a tabletop position. So I'm here, elbows up, head over top of theirs, pop up. Another way to do this, if I don't feel comfortable in the popping up, is just basic walk up. So just a step and then a step. So I bring my head over top of theirs to lighten my legs. One step, two step. My feet are facing either forwards or in. I don't want them facing out so you can drop his hips. I stand up, boom. I drop this down, then I'm gonna drop into my tabletop position. So I have this knee holstered here. Now, I'm gonna come into another inside position, which is our 7-11. So I'm gonna drop this leg out and around and in. So I'm dropping here, and then I'm gonna bring this leg on the inside. Now, I have a great little bend in his leg. I have my outside heel hook position. I have that hip break position, all that fun stuff. So I get to my tabletop, I'm up. When I'm here, I'm dropping this leg up and around, and then I'm gonna move in to get this leg to bend. I want that bend so I have the control in our 7-11 or Z-lock, it's also called, is very controlled if I have this bend in this leg. If it's straight and he's straightening, very hard to keep the control. I'd go after something else, but I can just easily sit up, keep that bend. One more time, I'll show him the other leg. Here, step, step, up, break that down. From here, I'm gonna tabletop, so I turn. I wanna keep this as a control position. Then I'm gonna pop this one in to the middle, drop down, and scoot in. So my hips are close to his. I pop both feet into the middle. I can grab this defensive leg while I'm going for that outside heel hook. This is a rotational outside heel hook, so I'm rotating it in. It's a beautiful little entry. Another basic entry into our inside positioning is if our opponent pulls guard and they have their feet on their hips, whether it's like a Del Hiva or whatever, they have it in. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna wrap over and I'm gonna threaten it here. I'm gonna start to push my hips in. Now, as I step in, I'm stepping across. So I have this, he has my hip control, he's pushing whatever. I'm gonna step in, okay? Boom, step across, fall. Now I'm in my 101. I wanna tuck this elbow under. In my 101 or double outside, I prefer, because I have longer legs, to step this one out and gain the control that way. Keep this one hooked so I can go for my straight leg lock. Some people will double up. They'll put 1, 2, and now you got that bridge through on that hip. All dependent on what you like, what your body type is. I go boom, boom. So let's look at that entry. They pull guard, they're here, they have all that, yeah, whatever way, okay? If they put any kind of foot to my hip, I'm gonna lock it up. Now I'm gonna step across. I wanna have the outside positioning, step across, boom, here. Now I have all of this torque and the control. I'm gonna go out, gain the access to the heel, or to the Achilles, I guess, boom. Take that leg, another basic entry. All right, now we're gonna look at getting into our 411 position. My number one favorite right off the bat is just a back step. So I have my partner, he's in, now I'm looking to knee slice pass, but I'm not going fully through. I'm in, I've dropped down, I have this, and I knee slice. Now what I'm looking for is them to peel and grab this 3/4 mount, or quarter guard, whatever you wanna call it, but they have this pinned. That's ideal for me. Now I'm gonna back step. Now I don't back step generally with a long back step unless I'm going for a knee bar. That'll be later on. If I'm looking at the 411 position, I'm looking to pop, bait this underhook. Now I'm gonna put my shin on top of his. Then I drive it back, and then I bring my knees together. This traps that leg, traps that knee line. So I'm here, I've passed. Then I bait this underhook. Lots of people go for it, boom. I bring the shin on top of his, and rather than like a full back step where there's a lot less control and there's more space, I eliminate that. I'm gonna put my shin on that, bring it back, bring my knees together. Now I sit back and I can grab that far leg. This is his defensive leg. So the more I can control it, the better. If I just go after this heel hook, he can slip in, he can get out, he can counter, all these horrible things. I want to heel hook him. So as soon as I get here, I'm in. My knees are tight. I drop down. I can bridge through. I can take that leg. So at a little bit quicker speed, I'm here. Just up, boom. I've pushed him down. Knee slice, he grabs, in, throw, up, grab. Now I'm in my 411. I have all this options from here. I have leg lace, I have my heel hook. I have a ton of different areas to go to from our back step. We're looking at 411. Now we're gonna do a step in entry. So from here, we're in our open guard situation. I'm looking to gain his level. I don't wanna be trying to from way up here. I'm gonna be down here. From here, I'm gonna step right into the middle and do a nice little back step. So I'm here, I'm looking at shoulder control, step in, point my toes in that direction. I don't want to point them directly at him. He can now get like del heave, reverse del heave, all these things. I'm going to step in, point him that direction, allows my hips to open. So I'm here, down, we're in, we're fighting, boom, step. This hand reaches down in between. I want to grab that tendon and pull. Now this leg is going to step back, grab my knees together, and then I sit back. Now I have my 411, I can wrap up this leg. So we'll do it from another angle. We're here, L grip, we're down low. I step in, point those toes, and I reach down, grab, pull it that way, in, lock my knees up to control that knee line, fall down. Now I grab that tendon with the other hand. Now I can lock up everything, nice bridge through, below his knee, all that fun stuff. All right, we're looking at a 3/4 mount entry into 411. So I'm here, I'm in mount. Now when I'm here, I like to set this one up with when they start to do the basic elbow knee, cool, give it to them. I give this to them, then I'm gonna drive this knee, I make my hips nice and light, put my weight on my arms, drive this knee across his belly, and then I back step with my outside leg. So I'm here, drive it across, back step. Bring this in, now I have my 411. Okay, show a few angles on this one because this is actually one of my favorites to get into outside leg lock position. So they go for basic elbow knee, they trap. This is 3/4 mount, so I'm gonna put my weight on my hands, bring my knee, and I don't I don't want it to not, or I want it to have contact. So I'm driving it across his belly. I don't want it to be nice and floaty. That gives him area, that gives him room, okay? I want to drive it across his belly. Boom. As it comes across, I back step. Come under, grab the defensive leg. I have leg lace, 411, whatever I want from here. From here, I want my hips to be in about a 90 degrees with his. I want them in nice and close. I want this one going down, this one coming up, and I have control. All right, so one more time, and we'll show just one more angle. So I'm here, he captures just my foot. Now I'm gonna lift up, drive, back step, under, capture this leg, in. I can fall back to my 411, inside heel hooks, I can leg lace, I can do all this fun stuff. This is hands down my favorite entry into 411. All right, in this section, we're looking at basic submissions. So we're gonna look at the 101 position and break it down. So I'm here, I have my back heel. We've went over control before, but let's just touch on it. So back heeling in, knee over top, trying to cover this foot as much as possible. This foot is pushing on that leg so that he can't use it as a defensive manner. So boom. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna push it down and roll. I want his knee to roll from facing up, where it's very easy to defend this, to push it down. Now it's facing in the right direction. I'm gonna lock up underneath. Now from here, I do a little teacup when we're very first starting, and this is the best submission for people that are just starting leg locks. I wanna go over or underneath that hand and pull it up. All too often people are doing this and they're trying, and this hand stays way down there and I'm not getting any kind of break. I need to pull this hand up and in. Now, next one, I'm gonna tuck this elbow. I wanna tuck it way under me here, okay? From there, I'm pulling this one up, and then I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm looking this way. I don't wanna look this way, because if I look and I fall to my back, it's very easy for him to defend. I wanna look under and bridge through that way, okay? So I'm here, push, dive, I get the blade of my arm. Now we have a couple spots. We have the blade, the bottom, the flat is this one, and then the meaty section. I want the blade, so if you do a thumbs up, right in line with that bone there. That's what I want at that Achilles. I want that big toe. We'll move around. I don't want it there. This, he's defending with the boot all day. I want that big toe right at the top of my armpit, so you shouldn't be able to move it around. That's how I know when I got this in. Push this down, arm up. I'm not gonna even accept that tap. Drop that elbow, bridge through, okay? So that's our basic 101, straight leg lock, Ashi, Garami, whatever you wanna call it. Push, dive. This one has to stay up high. Tuck that elbow, pull. Now, another thing that I don't wanna do is expose this elbow here. Okay, if that's up high, you can grab it and pull. Now it's starting to defend it. I bring this one in and all my elbows are tucked in, everything's tight. Then I bridge through, get the break. I want this foot to not only go this way, I want it to go this way and have that nice rotation for our 101. We're looking at basic submissions. I'm gonna jump into my 111 position or double outside. So from here, you have your basic straight ankle lock that you can get. I prefer to go for an outside heel hook. What's the difference between an outside and inside heel hook? One, if I'm heel hooking and I can see the outside of his foot, that's an outside heel hook. If I see the inside of his foot, that's an inside heel hook. Basic description of it. So I'm gonna look at getting an outside heel hook from my 111 or double outside. So I have this one hooking around, I want at that hip. There's a couple variations we'll show later on. So now I'm gonna pull this tendon and have his knee come 90 degrees. Mine are facing this way, his is facing this way. That should cause heel exposure. So I come in and now I dive under. I'm gonna work with a butterfly grip. So I'm gonna dive my outside hand over top that heel, grip up, and then I come in and I make like a butterfly grip here and in. Now I want to compress elbow to ribs to keep his foot bent at that 90 degrees. That's how I'm going to get an effective heel hook. So I grab, I bring my elbow in, and now I can bridge through that way. I did describe early on that I like, because I'm longer, I like to have this foot out and twisting, so I can now have all this control in, and I have that, now I can bridge through. Couple little variations, I can bring this one up to that hip, so I can bridge through off of him. I can bring them both in and bridge off of like the side of the butt cheek to get this outside heel hook. Now, what I'm looking at here is I'm looking to trap those toes in against my ribs. If I'm just here and I'm on that heel, very easy to heel slip and get it through, pop it out, okay? So I want to trap his foot in a booted position here. Now if he goes to heel slip, he taps. So I'm in, I have that, and now I cause a bridge and pressure on the outside of his leg, blowing tendons out that way. So I want to have this elbow tucked in, and I want to be able to keep his foot tight. So boom, tuck in, bridge through. That's our basic outside heel hook from 111. All right, basic submissions, looking at the inside heel hook. We're gonna work this one from 411. It works from a lot of positions, but 411 is one of my favorite, and it's probably the most common. So from here, what I want is control of his upper leg and knee line. So one, I'm gonna have this in, and I'm gonna be pulling this one up and pinching this one down. So it's almost a scissoring motion, and it raises his heel, it exposes heel exposure, okay? So I have that. From there, I'm gonna dive this arm back. Now, we'll look at a couple of the common problems that I see with heel hooks. One is they put that heel right on that elbow pit. If it's right on that elbow pit, very easy for him to heel slip and pop it through. Two, they try to work this and they're like trying to rotate all the way through before they have a lot of control over their hips. So I'm looking at hip control, so I'm bringing my hips into his knee. I want to start flaring it that way. I have all the control. I'm going to start to bring my knees in a 90 degree from his. His knees facing that way, my knees are going to face that way, right? They're up, that one's that way. That's how I can get a nice bridge through heel hook. Now, the grip and control. We'll show a couple variations. One is just our basic gable grip here, but I want to capture those toes against my ribs. I don't want his toes into my armpit. I want them against those ribs there. So now it's nice fully trapped. There is a little bit of space here, but he can't use it. If it's in my armpit, very easy for him to start to heel slip. So pop those toes against my ribs. Now I have friction, gravity, all this fun stuff to pop his leg. I gable grip and I bridge through. So with our grips, I'll show three fundamental ones. We have our gable grip. We have our butterfly grip, right? Then we have our infinity grip where I'm gripping over top. I'm gripping at that, the blade of his foot. So heel, across, and I'm gripping everything, or gable grip. We also have a little variation that I like, and that's I dive my inside hand under, and now I cradle, and now I can blow it out this way. Couple variations, but let's go back to it. We have this, we tuck this elbow nice and tight. I want his foot in line with my forearm here, and then I bring it under. Then I gable grip. Then I bridge through. When we are practicing heel hooks, we need to do them nice and slow and controlled. We play a nice catch and release game. I get there. If my opponent or partner doesn't know what's going on, just release it. All right, so we're looking at 411. We get into it, boom. I dive down. I get this. I make sure that I have his knee line controlled. Now, I go from an X with my arm and his foot to straight in. Now I have a lot of control. And I'm gonna bring my weight over top of that. So now if he goes to try and heel slip, those toes don't move. So I'm in, boom, and I have that nice blowing out of the inside of his knee. That is our basic inside heel hook. This section, we're gonna be looking at a little bit more advanced entries into inside and outside leg positioning. So shin on shin. Now for this one, I'll spin him around a little bit so that you can see. I want my shin to be here and I want my knee out. I don't want it so far up that way that he can use his knee to pummel through, I want my shin there. Now I'm gonna wrap in, I want elbow deep. Boom, in. This one's gonna pop through, and I'm gonna fall to my shoulder here. And I extend. Now I'm gonna come down, block, hip up, keep this, and bump. Now I'm in my one-on-one position, and I have his defensive leg trapped. All right, so we'll go over this again, different angle. I'm here, shin on shin, right? It comes from like this, where we're fighting, and then I move in, and I grab, okay? And I want it nice and deep. I don't want any space here where he can just push my head away. I'm in, right? If he pushes me, it should bring his leg up. So, boom, grab, extend, fall to my shoulder, extend this leg, drop this down, come up into my single leg X, bridge through. I like to trap this foot right off the bat, boom, in, and in my one-on-one position, I have my nice entry. So one more angle here. So we're here, we're fighting, we're looking at it, dive in, shoot through, up, grab, hips, in, single leg X, one-on-one position, all this fun stuff. A little bit more advanced, but we're playing around with it. Okay, the last way that we're gonna show for basic entries into our one-on-one is just from a straight mount. So our opponent has us in mount. I'm here. I'm gonna extend my arms down, and this is if he's up high, if he's like floating, whatever it is. I'm gonna extend my hands down to those hips. I'm gonna bridge up, and then I'm gonna extend my arms up and extend. I want him high. Okay, so he's back down. I get on those hips. I'm gonna pop him up, keep my arms extended, boom. Then swivel into my one-on-one. From here, I'm going belly down. So there's a lot of ways to finish our one-on-one. We've shown all from the one side. Now we're showing a belly down. So once I get here and I've locked up, this one's over top and I'm bringing my knee down. Now I can go belly down and bridge through that way. I'll show it at a little bit slower. So I'm here, I get those hands on those hips. I'm gonna bridge up, extend. I push them over to one side, ideally extending this leg because it's on my hip. From there, I keep one and I swivel in. I don't want to just try and like throw this leg around. It doesn't work that way. I need to push and swivel. Then I'm pushing this knee down. I can lock up, bridge through. A couple of points with that. If you just come back up there, Nino, boom. A couple points. If I'm here and I'm starting to bridge down but I don't have this arm in, very hard to get my arm in after the fact. So if he's up and I'm here, I'm gonna wrap as I swivel. So I have those hips, I swing, lock, then I push this knee down and get that bridge through. All right, advanced entries into my outside. So if my opponent's standing, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be looking at my De La Hiva, okay, or reverse De La Hiva. All right, so I got my inside hook and I got this. Now what I don't wanna do is just keep this one up there. He can lock it up, he can push it off, okay? So I have my inside hook. I'm gripping with a monkey grip underneath. This one comes up. Now, as I want him to move, I am gonna push and extend him with that. If I get that sweep, awesome, I win, right? If I'm here and I push to off balance and then I pull him back in, I'm gonna dive this arm, elbow deep here, shoot this leg through. Now I'm gonna invert up onto my shoulder. I like to wrap or lock my hands here, and then I come through here. So now I have my forearm on that shin, drive it down, shoot this around. I have my outside leg positioning, so my 411. We'll go over a few more details. So I'm here, and I have my reverse De La Hiva, right? I like to insert this first hook, and then I don't just leave this one here. He can actually leg lock it from up top, and we'll look at this later on, but I'm here. And then I bring this up, I extend, I pull back in, I dive this one through. I wanna go as deep as I can. From there, I dive this foot that was pushing into the middle. So push, pull, dive, up. From here, I come around, forearm on shin, shoot this around, lock it up. I have my inside heel hook here position, all this fun stuff. So a little bit more advanced, definitely worth it to try. Okay, we're looking at the outside leg lock position entries. This one's the jabroni sweep. So we're gonna go shin on shin, but other than like when we went into our single leg X where we went outside shin on outside, we're looking at inside now. So from here, what I wanna do is I'm off balance them by coming down, and I'm gonna hook nice and deep. When I hook nice and deep, I'm in, hook. Now I like to shoot this leg through nice and early. So I'm hooked, grab, shoot, and I'm inverting. From there, I'm on my back, I hook behind and roll through. I'm already in my 411. I don't have to mess with untangling my leg. I can jump in on this inside heel hook. So we'll look at it again, different angle. So I'm here. I have my inside leg shin on shin. Now I'm gonna dive around, dive through, hook, up. And I'm pulling this one into my belly, lock in, through. Now I can blow out his knee. One more time. We'll go this way. Give him all the angles. So not outside, inside. Dive through. Dive this one in, push off with this one here. Now I have my nice control, wrap up, blow out his knee. Advanced entries, Imanari roll. So we're looking at it. What I want to do with my Imanari roll is I'm going to set my footwork up. If his lead leg is forward, I'm going to bring my rear leg through and I'm going to sweep it. Now I want to sweep it and fall to my hip. I don't want to just like pummel down. I want a nice gentle fall. So I'm here, going to sweep it through, extend. Now from here, I want palm up. And I want this little crook in the, right by the thumb to attach. Now I don't let go. I can grab. I find just that is good enough. Now from here, I'm gonna roll across my back, head in front of that leg, up. Now I've locked into the Imanari. Keep that momentum going. Get into our 411. So, show it at speed, then we'll break it down again. So I'm here, we're looking. You can be pushing, you're looking at your distance. Sweep, up, through, grab. Okay, so one more time, we're looking at it. Sweep that leg in front, sweep it down, low, grab, rotate, insert. And I want to be above the knee, below the knee. This one is pushing this way, this one is pulling in. I still have this hook on the tendon on the inside of the knee. Pull them down. Keep this control. Now I have my outside leg control for 411. I can switch between all my leg lock positions from here. That's your basic Imanari roll. Still looking at advanced entries into 411 or the outside leg lock position. So now we're gonna look at X guard, but we're gonna reverse it. So we have reverse X. So I have normal X where my rear knee, the foot is up by the hip, front knee, foot is down by that knee. So now if I get his weight onto his hands, say I bring this knee in behind and I bump him down that way and his weight goes down to his hands, now I'm gonna reverse. I'm gonna switch my feet. I can bring them up, grab, extend, and come down. Now I'm in my 411 again. So how this looks. I'm here. I can do it from, I'll show you how to switch the legs. So how I like to do it is I like to keep this one because this is the number one hook that I need. This is just a cherry on top. So I'm here. As soon as I get those hands to the mat, I switch down, bring this one up behind the butt. So I'm going from just moving this one under, then I rotate. So I get his hands down. I have a nice tight grip. This back knee is gonna bump his thigh down here. I switch. So now I'm just gonna drop my top one. Bottom one comes up to the hip. Now I want to bring my knees in and my feet in this way and up a little bit. So I bring them up here. And if I can get inverted a little bit, perfect. Now I'm going to grab in on that knee, pull it through, and in my 411. We'll show it at speed. So I'm here. I'll bring this leg this way. Bam. I'm in. Now I bump him down, switch, extend, through. Now I have my 411, inside heel hook position. Let's go on to the next one. All right, now for 411, we're gonna go over the most controversial way to get into it. So this is off of if my partner gets a single leg on me. I'm gonna stick this one in here. Now, if he's strong and he has it in, very hard to get my leg back. So I'm just going to go into 411. So I'm just going to move him around this way a little bit so he doesn't fall against the wall. So how to practice it safely? I'm going to plant this hand down, okay? That puts most of my weight on it and a little bit of weight. So he's going to keep this leg up nice and high. And then I'm going to bring my outside untrapped leg in behind and trap in. Now I can enter my 411 heel hook position safely, okay? Don't just jump in at his leg. You want to do it safely. You want to learn how to get into this position. So he grabs, I put weight on his neck. He has it nice and strong. I plant, bring my leg behind, and I want my knee to end up pushing this one that way. I'm not pushing it in and hyperextending, I'm bringing it out this way. So plant, in, through, in. Now I have my 411 position. I'm going to grab that tendon just for a little bit of security. Grab, I can go for my heel hook from there. Learn it. All right, this chapter we're going to be looking at counters and escapes from basic leg lock positioning. We're going to look at our 101 position. So he has the straight leg lock. He has all of this in. Now, as we know from our control, he needs this back heeling. He needs this to keep my leg in there. So the counter side of it is let's get rid of this really quick. Very basic one that everyone should know is the hip hop. Now, before I do it, I'm going to show a couple things with the foot. If he has it fully locked in, very hard to start to escape even if I get that heel off. What I want to do is I want to start booting with my foot. So I want to make, we'll let go. I want to go from this and I want to boot with my foot really tight. I want to pull my big toe to my shin as hard as possible. From there, I'm also going to rotate my heel in. All right, so I want to in and boot. That gives me a nice strong, and I'm going to keep my leg as straight as possible. What he needs is a nice bend in the leg. He needs that ankle getting turned, and then he needs the hip control. So I'm going to try and diminish all of those right away. So boot, straighten. Now I'm going to hip hop. So I'm going to take my same side hand, place it on his foot, and pop it down. I'm going to keep that hand on there until all of my weight is on there with my hips. Couple of things that I see people doing where they're like, I just don't get it, is one, they use their opposite hand because it feels more natural, but now my arm is in the way of bringing my hips through. Personally, I would recommend this hand either be grip fighting or pulling this knee, this hand pushing that down, and then I'm bringing my butt through this nice little area here. So he's locked in, I pop it down, hip through. From here, I can start to counter my legs, counter pummel, or I can just get out. So I'm going to push in, then I'm going to straighten and pull my leg out. Okay, so we'll do it a little bit quicker. We're here, instantly putting that boot on for straight leg locks. All right, straighten my leg as best as possible, blocking this, punching that down, over top, through, either counter pummel, sit up, or get out, whichever way you want. This is your basic defense for our 101 straight leg lock position. Another basic defense for our 101 position, or that straight leg lock, is peeling their knees. So I'm going to do all the same things with my ankle. I'm going to boot, I'm going to try and straighten. Now I'm going to peel knees. So I'm going to go on the inside, I'm going to pop this down if I can. If I can't, I'm still peeling this one. From here, I'm going to counter with this one. I'm going to try and get this foot out. So I'm going to push, pull, and then I'm going to sit up. Once I can get my foot flat to the mat, very hard for them to attack. If he goes to attack it right now, very, very hard. From here, I can just grip in and start to crunch through and get into like a nice dope mount or whatever I want from there. So we'll go through it. I'm here, boot immediately, all right? If there's heel hooks, I'm gonna have to learn how to boot and ballerina toe at the same time, like going back and forth between them. For now, we're just looking at the straight ankle lock. He's doing it, I'm booting, trying to straighten, peel the knees. My defensive leg comes on the inside just to give me a little leverage to push. Pull that across, sit up. So I pull it across and then I do a combat stance sit up over top, and now I can crush in. I grab head and I start to push through. It's very, very uncomfortable for him. Sucks to be him, but don't try and leg lock me. So that's our second defense to the one-on-one position. Okay, now we're gonna look at basic defense for an inside heel hook. So we're gonna work off the 411 position. This is probably the most common for inside heel hook. He's looking at that. So in the previous one for our 101 position, we were looking at booting our foot. Now we're gonna look at ballerina toe. We're trying to point our toes to the mat. And now from here, if my heel is on his elbow pit, very easy to start the heel slip. I'm just gonna point, and I'm gonna kick through, and then I'm gonna pull that heel back to his hip. So we're looking at it. He has this. I'm gonna use this one to butt scoot in, ballerina toe to pop it through that way, and I need to kick it. So I'm gonna ballerina toe and kick at the same time. Then I'm gonna point my knee in the same direction as his, this way. Now he cannot dig at that heel. It's very, very hard. So from there, I can start to like push the knees away, escape the knee line. But let's look at this one more time, a little bit quicker. I'll show you from this angle, yep. Okay, so he grabs that heel hook. I'm going to punch my toes, and I'm gonna step in, ballerina toe, kick it, bring it back. If he's still digging for it, I'm gonna try and escape my knee. So now I got two hands, bring my knee on the outside of his. Then I can running man out that way. I can counter attack. I have a lot of different options. All right, so one more time, boom, he has this. He has that inside heel hook. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna start to straighten and kick, bring that heel back to his hip, defeat this knee line, and start going that way. Turn and run. There are other options. We will be going over them. All right, we're gonna go look at one more defense for the heel hook, and it is our basic roll through. This is the one that you see people like rolling to the edge of the mats until the ref can stop it. So they have a heel hook. I need to look at that immediately. It is a threat. So there's a couple ways you can go. Some people have shown like get your foot to the inside of the elbow. It's kind of hard to peel it from here. Like he's got weight, gravity, and friction here. I prefer to take my toe and stick it into his armpit. There's a little hole there. Then I can use that to kick both feet free. Okay, so he has that. I'm looking to get my toe in, kick through. From there, as soon as that heel's escaped, I'm going to try and roll out of it. So because he can counterattack, I don't want to roll this way. That blows out my knee. All right, so just in case he can still get a bite of my heel, I'm going to roll in the direction of that heel hook. He has that heel hook. I roll this way. I'm not going to blow out my knee, or it's less likely to blow out my knee. So he has this. First, come in, escape. I've straightened my leg. From there, I'm gonna bring this leg over top and I'm gonna start rolling. While I'm rolling, I wanna retract this this heel in. So I'm starting to roll, retracting that ankle in. If I can get this foot on the inside of the leg, kick, and running man out. So 50-50. He gets that inside heel hook. I'm gonna butt scoot in, get my toes on that, start to peel that through, start to turn, get my knee down, running man, straighten, and go. This is, it is an effective way to get out. It's a little bit more athletic, I feel, but it works. And if the ref's gonna reset you by rolling off the mats, this is a great one because they can just follow. And sometimes they reset you. Sometimes you really need to work at getting that leg straight and running man out. All right, let's counter 411 with our own attack here. So he has 411. I need to first heel slip. So I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna heel slip, then I'm gonna back this up to his hip. From there, I'm gonna take my defensive leg and I'm gonna lace it in underneath, straighten, and come in. Now, I'm in our 44 position. So why is it 44? Because I'm gonna make his legs a 4, my legs a 4. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring this back in. I have my outside heel hooks. I have my straight leg lock from here. I have my Aoki lock. I have a whole bunch of options, but I've fully countered the 411 with my own attacking position. So he has this. I ballerina toe with my feet and step in, kick through. Bring it back. He's nice and tight. I bring this leg on the inside, through, triangle my legs here so he can't attack mine. We're essentially in the same, except for his leg is within my knee line that I'm attacking. This leg is on the outside. Very hard for him to attack that. So I bring it in, sit down, I have my heel hook or straight leg lock. This is one of the most beautiful counters that you can do. It fully locks them in. I love it. Work it. All right, we're looking at counters to counters. So I'm looking at my straight leg lock. This is if they hip hop over and then they start to roll. This is a great way to start to get out and like running man. That being said, I can follow him and counter. So I have this, he starts to hop, he starts to roll, I'm gonna follow, okay? I'm gonna bring my inside knee down, right behind his. From there, I'm gonna tripod knee, knee, head. I'm gonna start to wrap this one up nice and tight. From there, I can just hip in, get that tap, or I can plant out and belly in. So I can either start from here, in, plant, in. We'll show it at a little bit better speed. So we're here, he has this. He starts to hop and roll, boom, I follow him. I tuck this one in, up, 1, 2. These are great little counters to counters. So if he's escaping, I can still counter attack this. All right, for the final little section here, I'm gonna give you a little bonus tidbit. Now this is a counter to a counter. So say I'm going after my 101 straight leg lock and I have this. They get this heel to the mat and they start hopping over, right? All is not lost. I'm gonna keep this knee on the outside. I'm gonna bring this in for a short hook. I bring it behind his knee, I'm pushing it out. Now my inside leg is gonna come to the outside. I'm gonna hook his hips so he can't hip out further. Now, there's a dual action here. One, I can just start to ankle lock him this way. Two, if I push this foot that way, it actually causes a lot of stress on the knee. And then I ankle lock, and then I can bring it through. So I'm not only causing motion that way, I'm pushing his leg this way, and then I'm taking his ankle that way. All right, so I have his straight leg lock, I'm in, he starts to counter with a hip hop, I'm gonna just short hook, bring it here, keep this grip, bring my inside out, and then start bridging through, breaking that ankle, having fun with it. That is a counter to a counter. So we should always have something in mind. If they get out, where do we go next? All right, this section is a little bonus section for those of you that have stuck around. We're gonna look at a couple different leg locks. First one up, the Aoki. So we're gonna hit it from our 101 position. Okay, we have a lot of areas that we can hit it from. Now, I'm gonna show a couple of the basics, okay, without having it all locked up. What I want is I have my basic leg lock here and I'm pulling up and I can get that one. Now, if they start to go out and that heel slips beyond my ribs this way, right? Now I'm gonna lock it into my ribs. I'm gonna plaster that heel there and I'm gonna plant this elbow in. Now I come in with my figure 4 and I bridge up and through. Rather than bridging through his leg this way, I'm trapping that heel and everything against my ribs, and now I'm gonna take it and bridge it up, and it's an external rotation this way. So I'm taking this foot, rather than going this way, I'm taking it and going this way with it. So I'm here, I have my 101, he starts to escape, I trap that in, figure 4, and then I bridge in. We'll show from our fully locked in. So we have our 101 position, he starts to escape out that way, okay? And now I'm gonna take that, I feel that heel coming on my ribs, I'm gonna punch this one in nice and deep. You can see how much pressure it's already causing. I figure 4, and then I'm gonna be doing like a side crunch up. I'm looking this way. I'm gonna be bringing it up this way. So I'm bringing my elbow down to my hip. So bring that heel on my ribs, figure 4, Aoki lock. That's number 1. Bonus submission time. We're looking at 7-11. So I have it all the way in, I've trapped that in, I have a nice bend. Now we're gonna look at a toe hold. So, toe hold, I'm looking to capture over top that pinky toe with my middle finger. From there, I'm wrapping over top, grabbing. Now, I can grab, I can just like put my fist on it and start to twist that way. So I'm looking to, one, grab, push, lock up, and now I'm trying to put his big toe to his butt. So grab, I'm here and we're usually fighting. I go over top that big toe or that little toe, push. You can fight all he wants, right? Sucks for him. Now I'm gonna bring this fist through, up. Now I'm gonna lock, and I'm gonna push in. I want that big toe to go this way. It sucks already there, but as soon as I add that forearm, that's my basic toe hold from 7-11. Miserable lock, but try it on your friends. All right, bonus submission time. We're looking at a knee bar from top half. So I'm here, I have top half. Say he's in and he's getting like nice and tight, and then he gets some space, okay? He gets some space, he either gets through. I'm gonna bring my outside knee in and across. I'm gonna grab those toes, I'm gonna fall to that side. So I'm gonna do this in one big motion here, up, across, fall. And now I'm pinching my heels to my butt, and I want this toe in beside my head. Now I bridge through. I'm looking to hyperextend his leg this way. So I've fallen in, grab that heel, bridge through, get that tap. We'll go through it. Boom, we're in half guard, right? He starts to defend, he starts to get some space. It also gives me space to bring this knee up and through, up, drop it down, grab that foot here, pinching behind his butt with this one, and now I bridge through to get that knee bar. Knee bars are a great one. We can hit them from multiple different areas. I'll show one more area that I absolutely love to hit it from, and it's from bottom. So he's in. Now I have knee shield, okay? And if I start to get this space and I dive over and I grab that foot, I pull him around, through, trap, push, get the knee bar that way. I'll show it one more time. So we're in half guard, okay? I have my knee shield. He starts to give me a little bit of room. I dive, I pull this leg, trapping, up and around. Here, in, I grab and I want to go ear to shoulder, shoulder to ear, in, and I bridge my hips through. I want to be pulling my heels to my butt and get that nice knee bar there. Two ways, get the same knee bar, work it. All right, bonus video time. We're looking at this steam lock. So this one is if he's like going for that double outside, but he's using my hip as a leverage point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dive under. I put the, so we have the blade. I'm gonna put the bottom of my forearm on there. And then I'm gonna gable grip over. I'm gonna just twist those toes in. So I want Achilles on top, twisting in. I can trap it in my belly here so that he can't escape it, and then I twist it in here. It's absolutely miserable. We can hit it from standing too. So if he's in, say, like De La Hiva, anywhere from there, okay? He's up and he has a foot on the hip. I reach under, grab, twist it in, get that estima. If he has our basic, like, yeah, I'm gonna put, and this is the problem with this. If he's in nice and tight, nice and high, but he's just like leaving this one dangling, I push it across, keep it, dive in, and I crunch through. Nice little steam lock, sucks for him. This is a great, nice little bonus leg lock for you guys that have been sticking around.